Amidst a post-apocalyptic society overrun by a globally permeating lethal gas and killer bugs the size of literal football stadiums, we find our hero, the Princess of the Valley of the Wind, Nausicaa. With major conflicts between struggling kingdoms heating up, and tensions between the humans and the near-endless horde of very irritable gigabugs reaching a boiling point, Nausicaa, a 16-year-old girl literally just trying her best, must find a way to use her skills of air gliding, botany, and being an empath to become the single thread holding the world together in the face of several Armageddon-level threats. In a world teeming with mythological intrigue surrounding the ancient undiscoverable floating island of Laputa, a three-way race to reach the island, its riches, and all its juicy little secrets kicks off between a highly skilled team of veteran sky pirates, the entire might of a technologically advanced government-funded army, and two orphans with a shiny rock. With an exquisite orchestral score, high-intensity action, and a world design that just oozes steampunk, literally before the term steampunk was even invented, it's safe to say that Ghibli's first official release set the bar higher than A Castle in the Sky. Get it? After moving to a new home, two little girls set out on an outdoor exploration one could describe as a quest to ignore as many child safety red flags as possible. They quickly discover that this area is home to a number of mystical spirits ranging from advanced level dust bunnies and Build-A-Bear adjacent acorn kleptos to the one and only extremely plushable cash cow of Ghibli, Totoro. So the kids go on a number of adventures exploring their picturesque rural neighborhood with their newfound spirit friends. Also, there's a cat that's shaped like a bus. Is that adorable or terrifying? I don't know. Either way, I can't ride it. I'm allergic. Yeah, I can't even joke about this one. I just cried. Like a lot. And not even like a good cry, more like a very distinct, I just witnessed the ruthless terrors of the Second World War mercilessly drag two completely innocent kids' lives from really normal and pleasant to pretty much as bad as it can get. And then every time I thought we hit rock bottom, another air raid sounded and they just kept digging deeper kind of cry. But I mean, in terms of the plot, yeah, beautifully crafted story. So if you've got the heart of a lion on crack laced with pure titanium, then hopefully you can enjoy the gut-wrenching story, stunning animation, and powerful soundtrack over the obtrusive sound of your own weeping. A young witch named Kiki goes out on her own for the first time to experience the big city lifestyle, all the while learning all sorts of important life lessons like how to make bread, how to rehabilitate a stage 1 incel, and most importantly, how to be your own broomstick-riding, same-day delivering girl boss. The old European city-inspired setting and the killer soundtrack make me wish I could settle down in this town as a little 2D animated kawaii baker boy. Gigi the cat is what every other talking cat wishes they could be, and had I watched this movie 20 years ago, the artist lady 1000% would have been a formative childhood crush of mine. So really, this movie has a little something for everybody. Lifelong Tokyo resident Taiko has committed the unspeakable societal offense of being a willingly unmarried 27-year-old woman in 1980s Japan. So after years of flack from her family over her decision to enjoy her youth and focus on her career, Taiko raises two middle fingers all the way up the family tree and takes a summer trip to the countryside to harvest safflower. While on the farm, Taiko learns how to process her childhood baggage through like a 10-day long perpetual flashback to a particularly formative year in the 5th grade. And real talk, I don't know what was in that safflower, but it made for some visually stunning flashback scenes, so thank you, farmers of Japan. A grizzled World War I veteran slash seaplane pirate bounty hunter slash literal chauvinist pig sets out on an adventure forcing him to overcome his three biggest fears: competent working women, 1920s Italian fascism, and one horny American bastard under the false impression that literally any of this is his business. With aerial action that brings a whole new meaning to the phrase when pigs fly, and a supporting cast of goons, goofballs, and goobers alike, get ready for hijinks aplenty, a young girl who really needs to find a nice person her age, and one porky protagonist who does not miss a one-liner. Also, fun fact, if you took a shot every time anyone mentions that Porco is a pig, you would die. Looking back on his time as a student, not long after his school canceled their yearly field trip, known opposer of educational bureaucratic administration Taku recalls his complicated relationship with a multi-talented and particularly irritable transfer student, Rikako. After Taku falls victim to a despicable trick wherein Rikako very candidly asks him to lend her over $500 in cash, and Taku, despite having met her about 2 sentences prior, pretty much without question lends her over $500 in cash, the two find themselves in some strange twist of fate and also a mysterious grudge involving an unpaid debt of over $500 in cash, with their lives suddenly intertwined and no idea how to deal with the complicated emotions that follow. In the midst of a massive urbanization boom circa 1960s Tokyo, a civilization of raccoons impacted by this excessive deforestation must decide between tricking and scaring away the humans with their magical transformation abilities, or forcing them away from the forest using their form-changing, expandable, literal ball sacks as suppressive bludgeoning weapons. That's not a joke, that's just the real plot of this movie. Also, I know that them being able to transform into humans is plot relevant, but I don't think it should be legal to make a movie where I walk away from it having ever found myself physically attracted to a raccoon impersonating a human. As her time as a junior high school student comes to a close, Shizuku, aka the actual prototype lo-fi girl, begins to ruminate over what she wants in life. Finding inspiration from a classmate who's a part-time woodworker and full-time dreamboat, a wise old man with exactly the type of beard you would expect him to have, and a statue of a cat, Shizuku realizes her life's dream of becoming a writer and takes her first steps towards pursuing this goal by drafting her very own book. This movie also has one of the best soundtracks of any Ghibli movie. I mean, any movie that so heavily features country roads is gonna win me over, but seriously, the whole soundtrack is great. After a young man named Ashitaka receives a lethal infection on his arm while defending his tribe from a demon, this dude, without skipping a beat, looks God dead in the eyes, proclaims that he did not in fact hear no bell, and rides off on a red elk named after a probiotic to find the all-powerful forest god and ask it to cure his wound. Before he can do that, though, he has to stop a raging war on iron production, led by a woman who could definitely kick your ass, and save the forest from the crossfire of clear-cutting and general human greed alongside resident wolf girl, who could also definitely kick your ass, Princess Mononoke. Hold on to your hats, folks, because you're about to dive into one action-packed adventure. And by action-packed adventure, I mean the everyday life of a typical middle-class Japanese family and their subsequent misadventures, which reflect the tried-and-true secret recipe for the ever-beloved household slice-of-life genre that is 1 part heartfelt and unwavering familial love and admiration, 2 parts comedically framed domestic trauma bond. The animation is unique and charming, the characters are all lovably flawed, and the comedy is fit for all ages. An unsurprisingly high-tier pick for a family movie night. So imagine one of those "that feeling when" memes, but it's that feeling when your parents are transformed into pigs, and also you get forcefully transported into a ghost world, and also you're put into forced labor at some crazy-ass Monster Mash bathhouse, and also this nose with a woman attached to it is looking for like one good reason to punt you like a soccer ball, and also, oops, she's your boss. And also your only friends are an edgy scaly with a bowl cut, Dr. Eggman, 6-armed reject cousin, and a newt-eating MILF. So anyway, yeah, I still don't fully know what exactly happened in this movie, but the score is great, and visually it's quite arguably Ghibli at its best, so definitely give it a watch. After saving the life of a cat in traffic, resident social mid-tier Haru discovers that this cat is actually the prince of an entire monocratic society of bipedal talking felines. Now, with the Cat Kingdom determined to repay her for this heroic deed, Haru, a girl who, mind you, has lived 17 whole-ass years of normal, completely non-fictional life, accepts all of this at face value, and in the wake of a royal marriage proposal from a cat, genuinely responds to the situation with a firm, well, hold on, let's hear him out. After which point, with the help of some equally enigmatic animal companions, Haru must find a way to escape an arranged marriage to a literal domesticated animal. So instead of a movie summary for Howl's Moving Castle, here's my impression of Sophie, the main protagonist. Hold on, what did you say? Wizards are considered incredibly dangerous and manipulative individuals in this society? Sorry, I can't hear you because a witch thought my hat shop was tacky, so she hit me with a frame-perfect unblockable 80-year aging curse and now my ears suck. Anyway, time to live in a gargantuan metal Pokemon with my new best friend, Howl the Wizard. I'm sure everything will be great and no wizard-related shenanigans will ensue whatsoever. Wait a second, does that scarecrow have a turnip on its head? In a fantasy world lightly seasoned with dragons, but otherwise recently inexplicably expunged of all magic, our hero and recent patricide hobbyist Aaron meets Sparrowhawk, who not only flagrantly stole the name of my Sonic OC, but is also evidently one of the only wizards to not download the new magic bricking software update. With Sparrowhawk acting as Aaron's guide, the two seek to overcome Aaron's recent tango with his inner Angle and Devil, restore magic to the world, and also mend the bridge between Aaron and Teru, a girl who Aaron told directly to her face he did not care if she died, as her life was actively being threatened by an armed slave trader. Truly a top tier today I fucked up post. Upon visiting the shore near his house, a boy named Sosuke encounters a fish with the face of a small girl. Seeing nothing wrong with this, he decides to bring her home and name her Ponyo. As the two become fast friends, Sosuke realizes that Ponyo is in fact not a normal fish girl, but a magical fish girl, whose magical non-fish father has militarized the whole-ass magical ocean on a campaign to retrieve her. And so, Sosuke's mother must use her apocalypse film protagonist level competency to protect the kids from the rising sea levels for the low price of nurturing a pure and magical relationship between two adorable children and maintaining a strange marriage to a ship captain with a phobia of being a present father. Anyway, cute movie. Great for kids. A girl whose name is spelled this way, and despite watching the entire movie I never learned how to pronounce it, lives in secret with her loving parents in a miniature house hidden inside a regular house, nesting doll style. Given the circumstances though, life is pretty normal. Then, one day, this sweet little cherub with bad heart issues and worse mommy issues moves in for the summer, discovers a surprise Honey, I Shrunk the Kids quest line in his new home, and through mutual hardship, both he and Artery learn about the importance of never giving up on the life you want to live. Also, the maid in this film, genuine sociopath. She terrifies me. Umi Matsuzaki, a high schooler whose father died in the Korean War, mother noped out to go study in America, and is currently doing all the cooking and cleaning for an entire household of working women, has had what one might call a bit of a tough break in life. But after she meets a boy named Shun, who's cool because he makes newspapers and rides a bike, Umi finds herself caught up in the business of her school's sausage fest of an intellectual club as she and her friends attempt to save the club building from demolition at the hands of the most nefarious villain of them all, the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. What's that? You're here to watch an emotionally engaging and visually stunning drama about a young man's struggles to find balance between following his heart of gold and his mind of whatever kind of metal planes are made of, as one pushes him to use his gifted intellect and passion to become a world-renowned aeronautical engineer and the other beckons him to pursue a simple life with the girl he loves? Oh, I'm sorry, this is actually the line for people who like uncontrollably sobbing like a pathetic little baby as they watch the cruelty of war and the ever-fleeting sands of time resolve to break the spirit of a man who dared to follow his dreams. Anyway, whoa, pretty music, cool planes. We've all heard of If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, but have you heard of the heavily Japanese folklore-inspired prequel, If You Give a Peasant Farmer a Bamboo Shoot containing a miniature princess from the moon, and then later also a bunch of nice fabrics and gold? Well, anyway, to answer that hypothetical, the farmer names the baby Princess Kaguya, and after Kaguya smashes the speedrun world record for aging, she's given a taste of what it's like to be the most sought-after royal figure in all of Japan. Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure that means that the back half of this movie is about a bunch of adult men wanting to marry a 5-year-old. After years of distress from losing her parents at a young age, a crippling lack of social skills, and worst of all, asthma, 12-year-old Anna is sent off for the summer to live with her master-class free-range foster parents. While there, Anna meets a mysterious but kind girl named Marnie, and the two develop a fun dynamic wherein Marnie helps Anna overcome her inner turmoil. Then Anna blacks out, wakes up in the middle of the woods, and everyone around her insists that nobody named Marnie lives in this town. So, like, is an entire town gaslighting a young girl, or is the lack of air to Anna's brain putting her in a perpetual state of asthma-induced psychosis? I don't know. Anyway, it's a gorgeous and wonderfully written film. Check it out. After being sent pretty much directly from the womb to the front steps of an orphanage, little Earwig uses her prodigal intellect to effectively become the 6-year-old shadow leader of her orphanage. All of this changes, however, when she's adopted by a pair of individuals who I can only describe as if the couple from Courage the Cowardly Dog specced into the dark arts and then got the bad ending. So now in the business of potion-making child labor at her new home, Earwig is forced to figure out how to escape this tricky, unhygienic, corporal punishment-friendly situation to return to the unfortunately favorable alternative of being an orphan. Following the death of our hero Mahito's mother, we flash forward 3 years to find that his father has near instantly rebounded with his late wife's hot piece of a sister, leaving Mahito to overcome his trauma on his own as he and his father move in with his aunt and her 7 legally distinct dwarf-adjacent little old lady house attendants. Upon his arrival, Mahito starts getting bullied by a bird with mad throat game and a strange connection to a mysterious abandoned tower. The ensuing adventures explore bizarre and incredibly animated scenes featuring characters with varying flights of fancy, birds with varying flights of wing, and one young boy braving all obstacles while overcoming his past and learning to accept his new aunt-mom family.